Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Perkenalkan, saya Muchamad Sholakhuddin Al Fajri, dosen program studi D3 Bahasa Inggris, Fakultas Vokasi Universitas Airlangga. Dalam kesempatan ini, saya akan mendeskripsikan salah satu mata kuliah sesuai dengan kepakaran atau bidang saya, di mana saya ditugaskan sebagai pengajar pada mata kuliah tersebut, sekaligus menjadi penanggung jawab mata kuliah atau PJMK. Mata kuliah ini adalah mata kuliah English for Journalism Praktikum. Mata kuliah ini ditawarkan kepada mahasiswa program studi D3 Bahasa Inggris semester 5 dengan bobot 1 SKS Praktikum. Mata kuliah ini membekali mahasiswa dengan pengetahuan dan keterampilan praktis untuk menghasilkan karya jurnalistik berbahasa Inggris. Ruang lingkupnya mencakup konsep dasar jurnalisme, news values, bahasa jurnalistik, teknik peliputan dan wawancara, penulisan hard news, soft news, etika jurnalistik, citizen jurnalisme, hingga broadcast jurnalisme. Sesuai dengan rencana program pembelajaran, capaian pembelajaran mata kuliah atau CFPMK adalah 1. Mahasiswa mampu menganalisis konsep, prinsip, dan etika jurnalistik termasuk news values dan karakteristik berbagai jenis berita, penggunaan bahasa jurnalisme, serta perkembangan praktik jurnalisme dalam berbagai platform media. Yang kedua, mahasiswa mampu menerapkan teknik peliputan dan penulisan berita, berbagai aspek media, dan menghasilkan naskah hard news, soft news, dan feature stories sesuai dengan kaedah bahasa dan etika jurnalistik. Yang ketiga, mahasiswa mampu menghasilkan karya jurnalistik penyiaran berbahasa Inggris melalui penyusunan naskah siaran, produksi video berita dengan menerapkan prinsip-prinsip jurnalistik secara akurat, efektif, dan bertanggung jawab. Mata kuliah ini terdiri dari 16 pertemuan, yaitu 14 kali pertemuan praktikum, 1 ujian tengah semester, dan 1 ujian akhir semester. Pembelajaran dilaksanakan dengan mengkombinasikan kegiatan sinkron dan asinkron, di mana proses kegiatan sinkron mahasiswa mempelajari konsep melalui ceramah interaktif, diskusi, tanya jawab, analisis studi kasus dengan menggunakan contoh berita autentik dari berbagai platform media. Sedangkan untuk proses pembelajaran asinkron, mahasiswa difasilitasi melalui platform hebat e-learning Universitas Airlangga untuk mengakses materi pembelajaran, mengerjakan tugas, serta melanjutkan diskusi dengan dosen maupun sesama mahasiswa di luar jam perkuliahan. Melalui strategi tersebut, mahasiswa memperoleh kesempatan belajar yang lebih fleksibel sekaligus mampu menghubungkan konsep yang dipelajari dengan praktek jurnalistik yang nyata. Untuk memastikan ketercapaian JPMK, metode penilaian atau asesmen mata kuliah ini terdiri atas penilaian kegiatan partisipatif dan hasil proyek. Penilaian kegiatan partisipatif dilakukan melalui keterlibatan mahasiswa dalam demonstrasi, simulasi, maupun aktivitas kolaboratif selama proses pembelajaran. Sementara itu, penilaian hasil proyek difokuskan kepada kemampuan mahasiswa menghasilkan karya jurnalistik berbahasa Inggris melalui penyelesaian proyek, studi kasus yang dikembangkan atau produk yang dikembangkan secara bertahap selama 1 semester. Sistem penilaian ini selaras dengan karakter mata kuliah praktikum yang menekankan penerapan pengetahuan dan keterampilan dalam menghasilkan karya jurnalistik. Pada video selanjutnya, saya akan mendemonstrasikan pembelajaran pada pertemuan kedua dengan topik News Values and Type of News. Kemampuan yang diharapkan pada pertemuan ini adalah mahasiswa mampu mengidentifikasi nilai-nilai berita serta mengkategorisasikan naskah ke dalam hard news, soft news, maupun jenis berita lainnya berdasarkan studi kasus jurnalistik. Sebagai inovasi pembelajaran, saya menerapkan case-based method dengan memanfaatkan contoh berita autentik dari media sebagai studi kasus. Mahasiswa bekerja untuk menganalisis berita, nilai berita atau news values, mengidentifikasi karakteristik jenis berita, serta menyampaikan argumen mereka dalam mendukung keputusan mereka tersebut. Metode ini dipilih karena topik news values and type of news menuntut kemampuan analitis dan pengambilan keputusan berdasarkan konteks jurnalistik yang nyata. Dengan demikian, mahasiswa tidak hanya memahami konsep secara teoritis, tetapi juga mampu menerapkannya dalam menganalisis dan mengklasifikasikan berita secara kritis dan berbasis bukti. Baik, untuk selanjutnya saya akan mendemonstrasikan pelaksanaan pembelajaran pada pertemuan kedua mata kuliah English for Journalism Praktikum dengan topik News Values and Type of News. Selamat menyaksikan. Terima kasih. Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, class. How are you today? Great. Okay, so today we are going to continue our previous meeting. Welcome to English for Journalism class, practicum class. This is our second meeting. Our topic today is about news values and type of news. But before discussing today's topic, I would like to briefly review our previous meeting. So last week, what did we learn? Anyone?
Introduction about journalism.
Yes, focusing on what?
On principle and the purpose of the journalism.
Principle and the purpose of journalism. Good. And do you know what is the purpose of journalism? To inform the public and provide context. Any other purposes?
Provide context is like offering deeper understanding.
Okay, that's good. So, so that's the purpose of journalism. And today we are going to move forward to news values and type of news. Okay, so let me start by telling you a story. So last month there was a case where motorbike was stolen by some people. However, it didn't appear in the news or on the news sites, on the news websites. Do you know why? Anyone? Go on. Do you know why it didn't appear in the news or on the news website? This motorbike was stolen, but not.
Because it didn't give a big impact.
Yes, that's one of them. Thank you. So it didn't give big impact for the public. So maybe the stolen thing is not really big, or maybe the people who got stolen maybe not really famous enough. So sometimes that can be criteria. News can be published or not. Okay. So for another example, like maybe in your neighborhood there was an affair, maybe cheating, but why is not published on the news sites? Why not, published on the news website or maybe in the TV news, TV broadcasting? Why?
Because there is no reporter who wants to report that news.
Okay, that can be the reason, because there's no reporter who want to report the news about the affair, about the cheating. But another case or another reason is that maybe because the people who cheat or the people who having an affair is not famous enough. It's different maybe if that the artist, yeah. That's why artists maybe got more broadcast, more coverage than the ordinary people. That's what we are going to discuss today, news values. So what is news values? Okay, before that I would like to give you the course learning outcomes, yeah, or subject MK Bahasa Indonesia. So after joining this class, you are supposed to identify, you are supposed to be able to identify news values and categorize news stories as hard news, soft news, or other types of news based on journalistic case studies. Okay, that's the course learning outcomes for today's class. Okay, that news values. News values are criteria that make an event newsworthy, explaining why some stories are prominent while others are ignored. Okay, that's the news values. So not every event becomes news. If every event becomes news, maybe the journalists or the editors, get overwhelmed by the news, because not a story can be published. Journalists and editors use news values to decide what to report, how to frame it, and how it appeals to audiences. Okay. News also comes in different forms, from urgent factual reports to in-depth analysis. So different forms of news based on different events. Okay, that's news values. Okay, now I'm going to explain several types of news values. The first one is timeliness. So if it is an event up to date, it may get published. Proximity, if it goes to the audience, it can get published. Then impact, significant based on people affected. And then prominence, like the artists, yeah, well-known figures. Then conflict, novelty, and human interest. Okay, let me ask you, what news did you read recently? Anyone? About the corruption in kebun binatang in zoo, Surabaya Zoo. Okay, so what news values it has? Timeliness, yes, and other proximity because Surabaya, that's good, and then conflict. That's right, because conflict, yeah, like controversies, corruption. That's also one of the news values. Conflict. Okay, other students, please. What did you read recently? What the news? Go on.
That was killed by attack.
Sorry, can you repeat?
There was a thief.
Okay, chief. Oh yes, yeah, a tip of chicken that hit or that yeah in Bali. Okay, okay, that's quite pity. Yeah. What news values it has? Yeah, it can be human interest. It can evoke emotion or curiosity. Okay. So conflict, yes, that conflict. And then what else? Maybe timeline is here because this is the recent events, yeah, and up to date. Okay, that example of how news values play in the news published by news website or news broadcasting. Okay. Okay. Contemporary news values we have several additionals, but I think it's quite similar to the previous one, yeah. But maybe the additional one is like news organization agenda, and then drama maybe follow up. That's contemporary news values, but I think it's quite similar. Okay. Okay, the next one, type of news. So basically, I'm going to explain briefly. Then you have to do the practical activities, yeah, because it's a practicum class. After this, I will give you some cases, and you have to solve it. Yeah. Okay. Let me explain first about type of news. There are 5 types of news. The first one is hard news, and then soft news, feature stories, investigative reports, and opinion and editorial. Let's start with hard news. Hard news usually talk about disaster politics, I mean factual events, and then the structure is inverted pyramid structure. We are going to talk about this in the next 2 weeks. Yeah. Then we have soft news. Soft news is less urgent news, human interest, lifestyle, but descriptive and engaging. I mean the style of the news. Then we have feature stories, investigative reports, long-term research to uncover hidden info, corruption. It requires verification. Then the last one may be opinion. So when opinion, you can write down your opinion and then get published on the news. Yeah, it involves interpretation, argument, and commentary. Any questions so far? No? Okay. Okay, news in practice. Understanding news values help journalists decide if a story should be reported, how prominently it should appear, and which format is most appropriate. Okay, so that news in practice. Okay, I give you example case studies here. One event, but maybe you can write it down in different way. Yeah, there is one event plane crash. Okay, it involves timeliness and impact. So you can write as journalist, you can write them as hard news by telling the story how it crashed. Yeah, but you can also write news about the survivor profile. Okay, appeals to human interest. If there is someone survived in the plane crash, so you can write down, yeah, the profile of the survivor, and you can report it as feature story. And then the last, maybe you can do investigative journalism, yeah, by offers deep on regulation reported aviation study or follow up. Why the plane crash? Or how about the regulation? How about the reason, maybe structural reasons? So it can be investigative journalism. So one event can be written in different way. Okay, I will give you case studies based on my data in my research. So I did research on the representation of disabilitas or disability, people with disability in Indonesian media, and these are part of the data. So the first one, yeah, talking about people with disability who sell coffee with electric vehicle. What do you think news values it has? Sorry? Human interest. That's right. Yeah, human interest. Why human interest?
Emotion.
Because it evokes emotion. Yeah, that's right. How about the type of news? It belongs to what type of news? Soft news. Very good. So soft news because human interest, and then it will be written or told by using soft news style. Okay. How about number two? What do you think news values it has? Talking about people with disability who fail to be civil servant and then protest to the Sumbar or West Sumatra government. What news values it has? Or the type of news is hard news. How about the news values it has? Yes, that conflict. You have conflict between people with disability and the the government. Yeah, in this case BPK. Yeah, conflict. And the type of news is hard news because it is talking about controversy about conflict. Okay, the last one. What do you think? The news values? Still, yeah, same. I think same human interest because evoke emotion, yeah, about crying, and then the people with disability. Okay, what else? What do you think? What else? What news values? What are the news values? Anyone? Beside human interest?
Because
Mm-hmm.
it was about the institution.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, but, also prominence. Prominence because it involves Kapolres Madiun, yeah, or the head chief of the police in the Madiun, so it can be prominence. Okay, good. Now let's move on. This is the exercise for you. And then the next one. Okay. Now I will give you case, yeah, and then you have to work with someone next to you to discuss and to answer the questions, yeah. So case one, which story should be published first? Okay. Just imagine you are the news editor of online news portal. Your reporter submit the following stories at 8 a.m. Okay, there are 4 stories. Then the question is rank the stories from the highest to the lowest publication priority. Explain which news values influence your decision. Which story is most suitable as the headline and why. Okay, you have to rank. I give you like 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, let me start. So maybe in this group, what do you think the highest publication priority? Which story Story B. A magnitude earthquake strike East Java, hundreds of residents evacuate. Okay, any different answer? Or story B? Yes, that's correct. So, story B, the highest publication priority, why?
Because when we see from the story behind us of the explanation, it concludes the data and also the explanation of the earthquake. So it consists of hard news and also should be sooner as possible to be published.
Okay, so the news values are timeliness and conflict, or maybe not conflict, maybe impact. Oh yeah, because it impact many people. Okay, so hundreds of residents, so impact many people. Okay, how about the next story should be prioritized after story B? Maybe your group story A local elementary school wins international robotics competition. Any different answer? Story D. Okay. I, I would like to hear your argument. Why A, why D? So why D?
Knowledge about the provenance and the government itself, and also it can be impact the
Okay, so maybe the impact it has, yeah, because city government launched a free English course for unemployed youth. Why A? Or maybe you change your mind? A or D? A is a local elementary school. How about the impact? Which one is having more impact? I think it's D, yeah. Yeah. So maybe it's after B then D. That's okay. Yeah? We are learning here. So story A, I think it's because local elementaries, quite local. So win international robotics. It's important. It can be published. But if we compare with story D, I think maybe story D get published first. The least priority is story C. A famous musician singer announced their engagement on Instagram. Yeah, the news values it has is prominence, yeah, or artist or famous. Okay, okay, okay. We have case two, identifying news values. Identify at least 3 news values and explain why these news values make the event newsworthy. Okay, you have 4 situations here. Try to identify news values. You can just think maybe 30 seconds or 1 minute. Situation 4, what news values it has? Anyone want to try to answer? Novelty, yeah. Why novelty? Yeah. So it find a new thing. Novelties mean something new, something unusual, yeah. So that's why in 2004, scientists discovered a new species of orchid in Papua. So maybe that's novelty. How about situation 2? What news values? Impact. And maybe if you want to write down the event, type of news that you use, hard news, soft news, feature, or hard news, yeah, because talking about heavy rain causes flooding that affects 20 villages. Okay, how about situation 3? Prominence, yeah, famous football player. Okay, I will give you additional situation. How about World Cup 2026? What news values it has? World Cup, football match, for example. Sorry? Human, yeah, it can be, yeah, human, and maybe not in the case human interest to evoke sympathy or to evoke emotion. So maybe more to with values. Timeliness, yes, timeliness is going to be timeliness, yeah, because recent events. And then maybe if you report the Messi or Ronaldo, it can be prominence. News failure is prominence. Okay, good. Okay, the next one, we still have time. Hard news or soft news? So you have to determine the most appropriate type of news, yeah. We have story A, story B, story C, story D, and then which one do you want to write in hard news or soft news? Maybe story C, which type of news do you think? Hard news, okay. And then story B, soft news, good. Story A, hard news, very good. Okay, let's move on. Case, this is case 4, choosing the best angle. Okay, this is the situation. An international student from Japan studies at Universitas Airlangga. The students speak fluent Indonesian, teach Japanese voluntary, blah, blah, blah. Choose the strongest news angle. Explain the dominant news value and why readers would be interested. And then whether the story should be written as hard news or soft news. Let's answer the last one first. Hard news or soft news? Soft news. Okay, why soft news? Maybe you want to write down as the profile of the volunteer, yeah, with the Japanese students. What about dominant news values it has? Human interest, okay. And then maybe because this is have an impact, okay, in Universitas Airlangga, so proximity, yeah, around us. Okay. Okay, the next one. This is the last case before you do your practical assignment. 5 events happen on the same day. Select 3 stories for tomorrow's headlines or homepage. The first one, which one do you want to publish first? Maybe you are as the editor. A, B, C, D, E? D or E? D, a train accident injured 45 passengers. Okay, and then? A, okay, and then? E, University opens new AI research center. Okay, so the list that you want to publish is? C, yeah? A celebrity adopts a rescue dog, so maybe not really important. Okay, do you have any questions so far? No? Okay, this is the key takeaways. So, news values guide story selection and framing, evolving with digital media. Different news types serve distinct purposes, from origin facts, in-depth analysis, and then the last one, journalists apply this principle to inform and engage audience effectively. So after this, you have to do your practical activity. So I will give you several cases, yeah, in this situation. You can download the paper or the question, the instruction on Hebat e-learning, and then you have to submit it on Hebat e-learning too. Okay. So after this, you work individually. You do the practical assignment, several cases just like the exercise, and then you have to answer by yourself. Okay. I will show you the practical assignment first. Okay, so this is your practical assignment, and then you have to do it in the following 1.5 hours, yeah? Okay, individually. Do you have any questions? No? Okay, so that's the end of our meeting today, yeah? Don't forget to do your practical assignment. See you next week. Thank you very much for attending my class. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Have a good day.